Alright, before we jump into the coaching questions, when did you start running?
Well, if you're asking when I became active, probably when I was 4 or 5. My uncle was a hurdler in high school for Verndale, and he got me running around the house and jumping over hay bales, and that's how I kind of became interested in track. I think just spending time with my uncle who was into track.
Any newcomers that stood out to you for this year's track season?
Well, we've only had a couple meets, so it's very difficult to see what we really have. A couple 7th graders that we look forward to seeing, Taylor Champ and Abby Foy coming out is new to us, and Catherine Barrett from Berndale is the 7th grader, new to us. So I guess the newcomers, those would be the ones that you kind of notice, but we just kind of see how it goes.
Why do athletes run around the track counterclockwise?
Why do they go around counterclockwise? Because that's what they do.
How do you overcome the nervousness before a meet?
Are you talking about an athlete, or are you talking about myself?
Either or.
I think an athlete has to focus on what their job is at hand, and not think about what happens if I don't run fast or if I don't make it over the bar or whatever, and only concentrate on the things that they can control. And once it's time to go, then they have to shut it off, and it has to be something that's instinctive.
All right. And then how do you become a better sprinter? Become faster?
Well, I think people don't realize how technical running is. We just think that sprinting is just, you were born with speed. Well, some of us are born with fast twitch muscles, but as far as when it comes to speed, I think a lot of us at our level can really improve on our speed by working on proper form, and then obviously getting stronger, and stronger would help, and faster feet and that kind of stuff. But form is really critical to the success of a high school athlete.
What is track and field all about?
Personally, I think I really like track and field because it's an individual sport, seeing if you can perform against the other people, and seeing how fast you are. And otherwise, there's individual events that that are pretty explosive and technical. So shot and disc and high jump, long jump, triple jump, they're all explosive events, and yet you need to be technical with it too. So that's kind of what track and field's about.
Right. Why did you decide to become a track coach?
Well, like I said, I was kind of interested as a kid, and I kind of moved away from it because my dad played baseball and that kind of thing, but I was not very good with baseball, hitting a moving object, and it just came to play that I just started in track in high school and became pretty good at it. And kind of how I got the job at Bertha-Hewitt was because I was hired as a track coach. And I ran track in college for a couple of years and had early success as a coach, and that's kind of been the thing.
Alright, and who is returning for the track season this year?
Who's returning? Well, pretty much everybody except the 7th graders. As far as names go, wow. I don't really talk about the boys so much because I really focus in on the girls because I'm kind of the girls coach. But if we're talking about Bertha-Hewitt people, Dylan Templin is back. Daniel Heron. Those two have been running for us for a while. Dylan especially is kind of a veteran. If we're talking to the girls, Catherine Van Hoovel's a junior for us. Heather Lipinski, Brittany Block, Samara Tovek, Rose Johnson, ran junior high. Mackenzie Richter ran junior high for us. So that's kind of the base of the people we have.
Alright. And how do sprinters train before a race?
If they're leading up to a race, with sprinters you don't have to have endurance as much as the distance people, so there's a lot of form running and that stuff. I think they could become faster just doing form running. But it's basically just sprint work. We're talking about sprinters, 100 and 200 meters, and so we might max out at 250. Most of them end up running 400s too, just to build some strength for their 200. But it's mainly that, just doing explosive stuff and not running for a lot of long distance.
Alright, and how do you feel about your upcoming year with your track team?
Well, as the season progressed, I wasn't real sure how the season would go, but after a couple of meets, I'm really excited about how they don't find excuses. It's really easy to find excuses when it's 40 degrees out and you're kind of sore. So their attitude is really good, so I'm excited. I think we're not going to be superstars. We're not going to win a lot of races, but I think we have a lot of quality people that have opportunities to place. I think our relays will get a lot better, and for Bertha-Hewitt Verndale girls, I think we'll have better showings in the conference in some of those meets where you're looking at doing well as a team than we have in the last couple of years.
On the track team, are all of the lanes the same distance?
The lanes are the same distance. It's just obviously if you went and ran a lap starting on the line where the start line is for like the 100 meters and you ran on the inside and I ran on the outside, it's going to be a lot different. The outside lane is going to be a lot farther, but when we do races and stuff, it's all measured out and staggered. They call it staggered. So they're not, I guess, the exact same distance, but if you're running a 400, we stagger you or give you what appears to be a head start.
Yeah. How long has track and field been in existence?
I think from the beginning of time, it was just kind of a thing that people did. I think it was really though in the 1860s, if I looked it up just briefly, and I think about the 1860s it became common again, and I think one of the first races was in New York, and it started up and becoming a lot more popular, and the Olympics is pretty big now. If you're talking about Bertha-Hewitt Verndale track, that was in like 1980, and as far as I know, before that time, Bertha had a couple, 2 or 3 individuals that were in track before that time, before the combination.
How do you know if you're a good runner or not?
When you win. I don't know, I think it's just easy for you. And obviously kids know in elementary, as soon as they walk in to my classroom, I pretty much can pick those kids out because they're talking about it. Well, that's just one of the things that kids are kind of proud of in elementary, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to convert to track and field and be really fast. So I think it's just, you figure it out when you go against the other people.
What's a great 100-meter dash time?
A great 100-meter dash time? If we're talking about in the high school at our area, like for our school, we have, for the girls, it's 11.56, which is amazingly fast. I'm not sure we have many boys that can run that time. And that's in the girls. That was from Charlene Butler just a few years ago. For the boys, if they can break 11, that's really fast. And if you're talking about the Olympics, I think they're running 9. I should know this. I do know it somewhere, but it was Bolt who runs 9.58 maybe or something like that.
Why do you have spikes on the bottom of your shoes?
Well, it helps you pull the track down underneath you, and so you have, it's not really a traction thing, it just helps you pull through and go faster.
Why is the track made out of rubber substance?
It's just all all-weather surface, so that if it's raining or so you don't have those other influences on it. It's just a weathering surface that doesn't take much maintenance as far as once after they lay it down, and so that it just can be run in pretty much all conditions, and they leave it rough. So because those back in the day when I ran in the 80s, some of the tracks were smooth surfaced, so they would become really slick, and you would see kids running and actually slipping on it. So now they have a torn up rubber surface, so there's no slipping.
Did you run track when you were in high school?
I did. Like I said, in summer rec, I was no good at hitting a baseball, so I tried track, and it was in my family as far as my uncles, and I became fairly successful, and high jump kind of became my thing. I really enjoyed jumping, and I kind of went with that.
What are any changes you have made with your team since last season?
Well, I think since last season and this season, I think the girls' attitudes are a little bit better, and they're more willing to work hard, and they realize the importance of doing drills and working out harder. So as of right now, our workouts are quite a bit harder than they were last year. We have a few more girls out, that helps, and they're all at about the same level, so they're pushing each other. So our workouts are a little more challenging than they have been in the last couple of years, which is fun for a coach because I know they'll improve more than.
Do you think your whole team will make it into sections?
Our whole team definitely won't make it into sections. You always want to say that, but it's not going to happen. It's just not in the cards because we have some girls that are young, and with the boys too, that's not going to happen. They only advance 5 people, so it's pretty competitive. But we expect some to go.
Who do you see making it to state this year? Any individuals?
As far as state goes, that would be, I'm not sure. I think we have some chances, like Hannah Barrett has been in the section track meet before, and Heather Lipinski's ran. Samara Tovek has thrown for us, and then Catherine Vandenhoevel as a high jumper has been there. Out of those 4, Catherine probably has the best opportunity to make the most improvement because high jump's kind of new to her since last year, and I think if she builds confidence, she might have the best opportunity to make it. So we want to get as many of the sections as we can. That's kind of our goal right now.
That's it.